I'm Chief Meteorologist Mark Weinberg. Just before we start this, I'm going to throw the flag. False start on me. So when we came in here to start the video here tonight, I didn't press the correct buttons. So we had to end the video and restart it. So
It's a Monday.
long and short, it's been a busy couple of weeks. So fixed. We're here.
First down.
Tonight's
that's the right
live
thing.
we're going to be discussing is obviously the winter weather advisory. So, you know, we've been put in somewhat of a challenging position here a lot of times on some of these advisories so far this year. There's been times where we probably ourselves would not have issued advisories. And there have been scenarios where it didn't turn out to be a whole lot. You know, based on the late data tonight, would I put out an advisory for Louisville? My answer is no. So we'll go through the discussion here. If you're new to our lives here, remember this is different than what we do on TV. If you just want to straight to the information, we do that on TV every single night. We'll get to the forecast, and within a couple minutes, you'll see the snow map. In the lives here, what we like to do is give you a little bit more information, go into more depth, more behind the science, show you a little bit more in the data, and so you can get a sense of what we're talking about. If you don't follow Rick DeLuca, please make sure you head over to his page. If you're on mine already, obviously like so that you can get alerts when we go live. And lastly, what I would request is please share the video. This one's the most important of them all. So 728 people on my page right now. If you share the video and let's say 100 people follow you, that would mean 70,000 people would get an alert saying, hey, come over, watch the video that Mark's doing. You might be interested. I should say 7,000 would get an alert.
And if you're going to be driving on the roads tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, then this should be interesting to you because we're going to have, depending on where you live, at least some form of rain, maybe a little narrow window of a little bit of sleep, but it's more of a snow and rain combination across the area. And I was looking at some maps today, Mark. January, we had 73% of the U.S. with a snowpack.
Really?
Now we're down to 40.
Oh, really?
We're going down to 40.
So I assume that's that snowpack out of Oklahoma and Texas and some of those areas out west that's getting chewed up.
Eroded.
I mean, look, we're not going to have it forever here. We've already had it for quite a while. We've got a lot of ice on our rivers.
But we saw a little melting today. We made it to 34. Some of the icicles were dripping a little bit. You can see, and the snow is condensing slowly but surely. But it's ice. It is a sheet of ice now, basically.
So it's been slow to melt, and it's going to take some time here. So let's jump into our discussion here again. Please, if you haven't shared the video, please share it. So winter weather advisory. In the Weather Service's defense, this has to be issued about 24 hours out. There really isn't a choice in a sense. We have had a discussion with the Weather Service. I think I speak for a lot of us when I say we believe that there has to be a floor on what gets an advisory. Otherwise, you can issue it for anything under the cloak of it can cause an impact. And in this area, rain causes impacts. So what do we issue a rain advisory every time it rains? I mean, we can't. No. So under that, these have been exceptionally liberal this year. These winter weather advisories have been handed out very, very, very liberally this year.
And without consistency.
And you might even be able to argue that Saturday we'll see more snow in some of the areas that are under an advisory for tomorrow.
For sure.
So that said, the advisory goes from most of southern Indiana, including Lawrence County, or not including Lawrence County. Every other county in Indiana is included. Again, I will note Lawrence County is not included in this advisory. If you're asking me, should Lawrence County be included? My answer is no. I was a little bit surprised that Jackson and Jennings were issued. The National Weather Service Indy has a floor of 2 inches of snow for an advisory, and I don't think they're going to get there.
No. And they're usually, you know, pretty strict when it comes to their advisories.
So I'm going to tell you, Orange, Crawford, Washington, Scott, Harrison, I don't know that you belong in this. I'm going to tell you that Jefferson, Clark, Oldham, Jefferson, including Louisville, under the Weather Service's definitions of impact, I mean, my problem is you can argue if it falls anytime during the commute in Louisville, it doesn't even matter. You could argue its impact. So, you know, that's kind of what happens here. So I would probably a little bit more comfortably include Jefferson, Scott, Clark, Oldham, Shelby, and East. And I'm not even sure those counties will live up to the advisory level. So This is tiered in its start, northern part of our area, 7 a.m., 1 p.m. in Louisville. So Rick, we're going to kind of move around our area here because we've got some to talk about. And obviously one of the things we need to talk about is where's the storm?
Right. Well, it's not here.
Not in our area yet.
Nope. We have some clouds. A little gap between the two. So that is a piece of the puzzle that's coming together. And it's not just a one-piece puzzle. This has two little elements. This one bringing down some colder air, and you can see the snow showers breaking out throughout sections of northern Iowa. There's also a piece of energy coming out of Texas, and that one brings a little bit of moisture. Not a lot. This event, I don't even think I should call it an event, but this situation is going to be more about the timing and definitely not about the amounts. We're starting to see this storm take shape. These two pieces of energy will come together, and we'll see this form pretty quickly tomorrow. And it doesn't fall tonight. Those of you thinking I have to worry about tonight, I have some travel plans, even early tomorrow, you're just fine. There may be some flurries getting, spit out here or there, but there's be nothing during the Tuesday morning drive that looks concerning. It would be more the afternoon that you have to start to watch out for.
One of the problems we could conceivably start to get in, we had an advisory issued this year where it didn't even, there's nothing. There was literally nothing. It didn't even snow. There wasn't flurries. There was nothing. We had an advisory issued that same week that dropped maybe 1/4 of an inch in a wet mess that really wasn't any impact.
Yeah, the roads held up really well in that situation.
I'm very concerned that part of this advisory will get no snow, no precip.
No precip.
And if we get another scenario where we get another storm and it doesn't produce precipitation and you're under an advisory, at some point, do you stop taking these seriously? And, I'll tell you, this is a big thing for me. I'm a scientist and I feel that I must be objective in what I do. And what I mean by that is subjective is to give, you ask me, Mark, is this going to be bad? And I answer with, well, I don't know what you think is bad. Bad's a subjective term. I work in an objective field and I need to tell you, Mark, am I going to get an inch of snow? No. Mark, am I going to get 1/4 of an inch of snow? So what I mean by that is this runs some risk where people are not going to know what advisories mean, or they're going to think that they're no big deal. Because if an advisory can produce no snow, and the same advisory is issued for 4 inches of snow, Rick, you've been here long enough, if this drops, let's say 1/4 of an inch, which is what we saw on Saturday, and they didn't issue an advisory, or if this drops 4, are the impacts the same?
No, not even remotely close. 4 inches of snow to a 1/2 inch of snow.
So then we worry. Again, I'm just being honest with you. What we then worry is you don't know even what this means anymore. And I have to say, I'm starting to feel that way, that I don't even know what an advisory means anymore.
I mean, you're not the only one. I'm very confused as well as to, here's the thing. We try to tell you what to expect or to prepare for. And there should be a definition, at least a bottom number of how much snow.
Like, what does it mean?
At least something. I can walk outside and at least see, even if it's a 1/2 inch of snow on the ground, at least it's something I can tangibly look at, acknowledge, say, okay, well, this is what I expect. But the idea of an impact-based, if there's going to be impacts during a drive, I get that too. But it's so subjective that basically they've left no room to be wrong, meaning there's really no true forecast behind it. People can't prepare. And in terms of helping the public, I don't think this is helping. That's my problem.
And if you ask me, is this advisory level snow? I can't answer the question anymore. I don't even know what it means. So we're at 34
Based
degrees.
on the old definition.
The old one had a floor of an inch.
Right.
We knew.
And
we could say this.
But pretend the old one was still in.
Then I could say, but you're going to get an inch of snow, and that's what I'm forecasting. I think it's this advisory level snow.
And that's
but how could you argue that the day that we got no snow in early January is the same as what happened on Saturday? It snowed all day on Saturday. It didn't amount to a lot, but it snowed all day.
It snowed, yeah.
So let's get into the discussion here. 34 degrees, Louisville, dew point 21. Dew point 21. We're going to really talk about the dew point, Rick, because this is something that's important twofold. The atmosphere is not ultra cold aloft tomorrow. Now, this is not like the big storm that we saw that dropped 15 inches in Seymour and dropped about 6 inches in Louisville. This is different in the regard that there's not a lot of precipitation.
Right.
So
Or QPF, as we like to call it.
So low dew points can cause us, in a sense, to drop temperatures quickly in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. And since this only lasts for a couple of hours, it could sustain the storm.
Yes.
So that initial burst could be rain-snow mix and then transition into snow because of the low dew points. The further south you go, the harder it's going to be. Seymour 31. I get worried a little bit about Seymour now, not necessarily because of snow tonight, but we're going to start to see more melt. They got a lot of snow on the ground, and eventually that's going to refreeze almost all of these nights. So the sides of those roads are going to get problematic. Rick, dew points are in the low 20s around the area. There's a term we call evaporative cooling. Liquid snow, whatever it is falling from a cloud. When that evaporates into the air, the process is called evaporative cooling. Literally that phase change of the water, whether it's from the snow solid or the rain into a vapor, where it gets pulled into the atmosphere, it actually pulls, it requires energy to make that change.
Latent heat is pulled from the atmosphere.
So it literally is cooling the column. And that's what's key here to be able to allow a rain, snow, and then to snow. Now, that doesn't necessarily say anything about the amount. That just speaks to a conceptual model of what could occur here. Now, quickly around our area, we're running near about 32 degrees. It's pretty obvious that our atmosphere is not ultra cold and our wind chills are sitting mid-30s. Rick, let's jump right into this and go into the data because I think this is obviously the most telling part of everything we do here. So this is 7 a.m. I'll let you start to walk your way through this.
7 a.m. leaving the house, couple of flurries flying around on the, let's say, Indiana, Northern Kentucky side. So if you're north of I-64, a couple of flakes, nothing major. We go between around 9 and about 11 o'clock. And what you start to notice is that band gets a little more intense, starts to fill in somewhat. And it is a stripe of some very light snow north of I-64. And this will be dropping southbound as the day wears on between 1 and 3, expecting that to arrive in Louisville. The exact precipitation type is a little bit more unclear now. At first, it looked like maybe a little bit of rain and then would go quickly over to snow, but it may hold on in the liquid form just a little bit longer based on some of the late data that we're seeing now, Mark. But still a wintry mix, and starting with that snow and then some rain and then all snow. The snow is definitely going to be on the backside of this one.
And this is the problem, is this area here may be phantom.
Just because it's too dry.
The data is showing, some of the data is showing not much there. In some of the new high resolution computer model runs, it doesn't show anything there at all. And that makes us nervous that this advisory may have been punched out a little bit too quickly. So, you know, if there was a floor, we could probably avoid scenarios where we're like, well, it's only going to generate a half an inch or whatever, but that's not where we are. So anyways, you can see the reason that this goes into effect in Louisville at approximately the time it goes into effect in Louisville. You could see that the data is bringing this into the city around 2 to 3. Now, this particular run of advanced track, I'm going to be very transparent, is significantly more generous than some of the current model run. And so it has this in around 3. Now, I would say that the timing, let's just speak to the timing alone. Is it accurate? Yes. The advisory, if you were to issue, is exactly the time. So this would be early, mid, late afternoon. Data keeps this snow on going at 5. Now, I'm again going to tell you that some of the data does not agree in any way, shape, or form with what you see here, in that it just shows it further east. Some of the data has cleared this from Louisville by around 5. Advanced track on this run keeps it in through about 7. But this run, not juicy, was a little bit more juicy. This run of advanced track shows a brief period of a rain-snow mix transitioning into snow in the metro, which makes sense. Now, if this is going to be on the lower end of amount of precipitation, which we think it could be, it may start as rain snow mix, quickly transition into snow, and then shut down immediately. And that is entirely possible here. Advanced track moves the snow and the system out by 9 p.m. and it's long gone. It's a fast mover. It is not the storm system we saw, a week ago Sunday. It is not even in that league. If you look in our area, the high resolution models are showing hundredths, 500ths,
which,
maybe.
I mean, you're not going to notice that, barely.
So we have very deep concerns with this advisory. So this is the HRRR computer model. And Rick, this is the most recent run. I did update it before. I'm going to put this up full, and I'm going to let us talk over this real quickly. This is a problem.
It's deja vu.
This is 0 in Louisville, 0 in Paoli. This is 0 in Hardinsburg, 0 in E-Town, 0 in Campbellsville. This shows a 1/2 inch in Seymour, a 1/10 of an inch in Madison, and 6/10 of an inch in Frankfort. This is one of the best high-resolution computer models on planet Earth.
And this is what we're left with. And this is the thing. There's still some time. I mean, we're less than 24 hours away. But if this trend continues and the data looks like this, there's no way the Weather Service can keep this alive. They're going to have to at least trim.
I don't know, man. They kept that advisory alive. They kept the advisory alive, the one that produced no snow. No, they did. Now I think they canceled it right before it started.
Before it started.
So it is possible the Weather Service makes adjustments to this.
I would hope so.
I would say that my opinion is better late than never. You know, look, the data has adjusted since this afternoon. And in that, I can defend some of this. I'm going to show you Advanced Track here. By the way, this is our in-house weather model. Advanced Track is obviously showing this a little further west. So it shows a 1/2 inch in Paoli, which, you know, again, I would argue is not winter weather advisory. It shows Seymour at 0.3. It shows Louisville at around 1 inch. It shows around 3/4 of an inch in Madison. And it shows Frankfurt at 1.1. Rick, this model does show E-Town getting a little bit. These are all under 1 inch everywhere in our area. Rick, the NAM computer model, I'm going to throw this one up. This one is a model that did, let's just say it was probably the best model in our bigger snow.
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, this is also a model that has its things it's good at, and it has some of the things it's not so good at. But you can speak to the numbers there. They certainly are higher than the HRRR.
They are. This one's showing 1 inch plus in Louisville, nearly 2 in Frankfurt. It kind of has a concept of the zone that could see higher amounts, but it tends to overdo the actual amounts.
It does overdo it.
The one thing Mark mentioned, it has a skill set. It's very good at picking up low-level warm air infiltration, which is why it did such a good job handling that sleet that mixed in with the snow, because it was able to identify a mile above the ground that we had some warmer temperatures. So this again, different models, different strengths, different weaknesses, and the new data is rolling in right now. I'm looking
at the NAM too, by the way.
The NAM, I was just trying to see if
it does look similar
to the HRRR to this one.
The HRRR is more on an island in that it shows nothing. The NAM does show a similar set.
Yours is faster than mine.
Where are you on?
I'm on 17%.
I'm at, refresh it, I'm at 22%.
Oh, it's not by much.
But are you not seeing it?
I'm 21%.
So
do you have some sort of special account over there?
I can't say that.
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
So now I'm going to take you from here. You can see the NAM computer model showing 1 inch, and then we'll close it out with the Euro. And the Euro shows 3/10. And you're like, Mark, isn't this one of the best computer models in the world? The Euro is the best synoptic weather model in the world. It's very, very good at the theme. It's not very good at getting specifics down to the numbers. You'll see the GFS posted by the engagement farmers. The engagement farmers are those social meteorologists that are not meteorologists that will post the data 2 weeks into the future. The GFS and the Euro are not, they're not going to put the locations well. They're just not. They're good at painting the theme.
Yeah.
The theme, but not necessarily the exact concept here.
I think people at home want the exact answer. It's not, these themes are maybe get a lot of attention, but they're not really helpful.
So I think what we should do is go back then and look at the HRRR one more time in the NAM, because I think these are two good models. So what I'm going to tell you is the HRRR has moved its snow amounts about 50 miles further east than what it was showing earlier. The HRRR earlier had basically the same concept through around here. Am I willing to push all in that the HRRR is the model to go with right now? My answer is no. Looking at Advanced Track, and I'm just going to show you this is an in-house model. I think advanced track paints a little bit more of a realistic picture in showing some near Seymour. I think the HRRR may be overdoing the dryness at the surface, is my opinion. I think it may be too low.
Too low.
I do think that if you argue why the advisory was issued earlier, again, I'm not saying I would issue on this as we do it right now, but I think you probably can get by with if you're saying up to. And, you know, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you guys, this is our snow map, by the way. I know that's probably what you came here to see. I'm going to tell you that there is some uncertainty in the white. And there's a reason it says up to. It doesn't say 1 inch. Rick, we don't do that. And some people might say, well, why not? I'm going to tell you why. The HRRR computer model shows 0 and the NAM shows 1 inch of snow. I mean, there's a reason ranges exist. Our science has not evolved to the point that I can say you're going to get 1.1 at your house, and at my house, I'm going to get 1.4.
It's gotten better, but it's not that good yet.
This isn't Back to the Future where they can, you know, remember when they went to the future?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, it's going to rain in 3, 2, and then it started raining. We're not there yet.
We're not. Maybe one day, but that's the thing. You have to allow for some spread in terms of these numbers, because if you're in that white zone, there will be spots that get maybe a quick covering of snow, maybe a ½ inch, but there will be others. If you call your friend and maybe the ones further west and they say, well, what's snow? So you have to play the basic game of this can happen or it cannot. And we're keeping a very tight range. It's not like we're saying it's a large range. I mean, from a dusting to 1 isn't that big of a difference.
And 0 up to could also mean we're accounting for this scenario where some of it shows nothing.
It may not work out. So that's that. We're just trying to give you the preparation in case that happened to be the case.
So the 0 to 1 would include areas like Paoli, Hardinsburg, E-Town, Shepherdsville, Mount Washington, Louisville. It includes Corydon, Paoli, French Lick, North Vernon, Seymour, Bedford. Includes you in the let's say Brownstown area. It includes you in Salem and Scottsburg. It includes you in Madison and goes through around, let's say, LaGrange, and then we've got 1 to 3 off to the east of that. The area that I have the most questions with right now is going to be where we have the 1 to 3. It remains entirely possible that this could need to go a little further west. What we did before we started this is we only had access to the new HRRR computer model. We did not have access to anything else. And some of that data is rolling right now. Based on the HRRR, we are always of the belief that let's not step on the gas unless we have to. So we ease that about a half of, maybe 3/4 of a county further east.
And to be clear, at the end of the day, Mark, this is such a low impact sort of scenario. Yes, the timing's not great. Anytime you have a lot of people on the road and there may be snow falling, it equals bad, things in terms of how traffic goes and slowdowns and just headaches. But this is still not a monster snowfall producer. And I think understanding that and taking that to heart is probably an important part of just this whole video too. Just understand the amounts will be low. The timing's not ideal.
I mean, and even 1 inch is not a high-end event, but look, we do think that 1 inch is still in play in Louisville. If 1 inch falls between 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, 100% needs an advisory.
Yeah.
We are in agreement that as 1 inch on our floor, if that's what we still think is appropriate, this is absolutely advisory level snow. So if I'm the Weather Service right now, am I making based on the new information, am I making adjustments to this? I'm going to tell you, Rick, if it's me, I'm not right now. I would not wait. I would not. Once the advisory is out there, I think you need to be sure of it.
Yeah,
if you're going to pull it, you got to be sure.
A couple more runs overnight into tomorrow should help really clear up exactly how this should unfold, or at least find a little more consistency. When you have one run of the HRRR that's an outlier and shows less snow, you can't put all your chips on it.
Exactly.
It's just not wise.
And I'm looking at it. What's interesting about this is the way that the low unfolds is the exact same between the NAM.
Interesting.
There is no difference. It's just I think that the HRRR may be a little too dry at the surface. It may be anomalously dry, and it may be shutting it down a little bit too quickly. I'm going to just, while we've got, again, everybody in here, I don't know if the higher resolution NAM has come in yet.
Well, actually, you want to look at that? I just saw a comment pop in that I have to.
Okay. So first here, if you guys, pick out your town right now, just so we're clear, the 1 to 3, we've got it near Frankfurt. We've got it near around Henry County, so Newcastle, Jericho. It's conceivable Carroll County. We would put it back in there. I would like to see the data still, but it fringes your counties like Carroll County, Trimble County, Oldham County, and it is in Shelby County. Those fringe counties are where we might need to make some adjustments. In Louisville, I don't necessarily see any way that we put Louisville in the 1 to 3. I think that is going to be too much.
That's too much.
I don't think that's going to work out that way. I don't think we'll make those changes. Now, before we go into the Q&A portion of this, we've shown you some of the data, some of the maps. I would tell you that a lot of times 18 hours out, weather model data rolls in, I would be just breezing down at it and be like, whatever. We've already got our forecast, we're done, but it's quite clear that there's some really big differences still in the data.
Yeah.
So that makes us a little uneasy. If you guys are just joining in our Facebook page, remember you can always share the video, thumbs up if you enjoy them. And let's go over to some questions and some answers, Rick.
Well, first off, I wanted to explain one thing. The snow that you saw Saturday is not going to be the same type of snow if you see any tomorrow. Saturday's was the confectioner sugar, the powdery, fluffy, really fine, easy to just take the leaf blower and knock it off your car stuff. That's what you did?
I did it.
Nice work. This one, while you probably still could get away with the leaf blower because it's just such a small amount, it's going to be more of the wet, the heavy, the slushy, where you may have to go out and, the brush with the ice scraper on one side and brush off your windshield. It may be more of that kind of snow.
But that's good for snowmen.
That's very good for snowmen and pegging people with snowballs.
Wait a minute. Who are you throwing a snowball at?
Nobody.
Are you going to throw a snowball at Mia?
No. You maybe, but not Mia.
You're going to throw a snowball at me?
If we get enough and I can... I'm not throwing a snowball at my daughter. She pegged me.
Did she?
Oh, she destroys me. Also, speaking of my daughter, Ann Davis said, met you at Costco.
Oh, no.
Ann,
if you go to Costco any weekend.
I live there.
Rick's excitement on the weekend is the protein shake samples at Costco.
That's what she had spilled it all over.
Mia did?
Yeah, she took the first one and just...
No.
As soon as we got there, and I was like, "This is gonna be a Costco adventure."
Did you get her a second one? Or did she need another?
She had 4, I think, but I had to get her a little protein. But yeah, so she was within 5 minutes of being there. She was covered in basically chocolate milk, protein shake, and pasta sauce within the first 5 minutes. So she got home, it was a disaster.
So, but if you ever see us in public, I'll say this. Some people are like, "Hey, you were sitting in the booth next to us when we were eating." Oh
yeah, mission.
But just come say hi to us. Yeah. Honestly, we can't do this without you. We appreciate you. So if you ever see us, say hi. I mean, trust me when I say this, there is never a person that will ever not stop what we're doing to say hi. So this one coming in from Hope. Hope is saying, what time tomorrow? I think that the advisory time is perfect. Yeah. So it goes into effect at 7 a.m. in our north, agreed. Goes into effect at Louisville at 2, agree. If you're in our southern Indiana counties, fringe across that. So that could get going in areas like Scottsburg, 9. And Louisville around 2, start time around 2. If it goes the full length of what some of the longer data has, it could go through around 5 or 6. In transparency, some of the good high-resolution models are now showing virtually nothing in Louisville. There are also good models that have absolutely virtually not changed from what they had yesterday. When you're in a scenario like this, Rick, and you have one model that has kind of jerked in one direction, all of a sudden, generally we ignore that.
Yeah.
And then the HRRR, that one, as we said, is one of the best in the world, has jerked to nothing. I'm going to tell you, my feeling right now is we have to ignore that. My feeling right now is I do understand it says that. The Weather Service cannot make a change based on that one, I don't think.
No, it would be silly. That's like getting advice from just one random person saying, "Oh, we're just going to take this and go with it." I would always err on the side of caution. We don't like to knee jerk in terms of just one run of one model. We like to see the trends and watch it unfold. Now, if this is something that shows up in other models and tomorrow morning we see more of this, then we have a little more clarity and maybe a little more
it's just unnerving
latitude. Well, for me,
I think, when this video started, I think that there is a little frustration we have felt with some of the way these advisories have been dealt with this year. And I think it's hard. It's become frustrating that these are getting issued so liberally that we just are getting, we sense the confusion. So somebody's asking, I hear anywhere from 1 to 300 inches. You can see our map, guys. I mean, we're not throwing out we're telling you that even in the worst case, Louisville catches an inch.
Worst case.
Maybe an inch and a quarter, but it's almost on the number. Nobody's going to split hairs on that. We think that the up potential could occur from Maysville through Frankfort, Madison, LaGrange. That's where we think our higher up potential would be. Somebody's asking, is there any worry about early release for JCPS? So I'll answer that one because I do like this one. We can never tell you. What we don't know. If you're asking, could there be slick roads? The answer is, you've lived here. You know, we can get slick roads under almost any circumstance. Would an inch of snow that's wet be highly effective at causing a lot of road issues? Our pavement is still very cold. What I saw on Saturday, I don't know about you, Rick, but what I saw on Saturday is it stuck to my driveway, but where the cars were going, it really didn't stick that much. And I assume it's because the monumental amount of salt that's still on the roadways. So I do believe that salt and brine would be highly effective, assuming that if this starts as rain, it doesn't wash the brine away. But salt should be quite effective at this particular
especially considering now temperatures aren't so frigid. I mean, before it was so cold that some of the generic stuff didn't work.
Yeah, this is a different animal.
This is a different animal. Temperatures, we made it to 34 today, and we'll be in the 20s tomorrow, but it does appear as though it's not going to be that insane cold. And that's kind of the main thing. It's another winter weather advisory. I know you're probably like, I am so over these advisories and these warnings. At least it's not a cold weather advisory, and we're not talking about dripping your faucets. We've seen the finish line, at least when it comes to the frigid for now, and we focus in on more of this. That's why we're dealing with a mix, Mark, because temperatures have come up. So it's more of that, do we get mainly rain, like you can see from Litchfield, Campbellsville, Greensburg into Columbia, Munfordville. And then everywhere else, it's how much snow.
And it's an interesting one because if you kind of just go by traditional storms, the northern axis of the storm goes through our far northern counties. We call this the deformation axis. Interestingly enough, when we start to look at some of the high resolution computer models, it does show that in our northern counties.
Okay.
So
that would make sense.
These are things that we really need to look through. As I said, you saw what the HRRR computer model showed earlier. It had virtually nothing. But there are models that show about 3.5 inches in Seymour and North Vernon. So
you weren't lying about the deformation band.
So that's going to be the hard part of this one, is that little skinny area up there. And in the end of this, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our weather office. We're going to spend a lot more time looking at data. It's hard to do live analysis when you're in the video trying to answer questions and all that. So it becomes challenging, but we wanted to give you where we are, what we think. In terms of impacts to the evening drive, it is certainly possible in Louisville. Are we talking about an upper echelon elite level impact? Absolutely not. I think we both agree on that.
You know, some people decide if it's snowing, I'm not going to be out on the roads kind of thing.
I kind of appreciate the person that recognizes that that's not the place for them to be.
This is not my skill set and I don't like it and it makes me nervous and, you know, I put other people at danger. I kind of get that. So,
exactly.
You know, a lot of people still work remotely. If that's still an option and you hate driving in any sort of wintry precipitation that's falling from the sky, tomorrow may be one of those good days to call in for that. But I would say this is still going to be low impact, but terrible timing, just because it will be coming down as a lot of people are hitting the roads, kids getting out of school, you're trying to get home from work. So will this make the evening commute somewhat of a headache in parts of the day? Yes, absolutely, especially if you're north of I-64. But it's going to start more of a mix, and then we'll take that hard shift over to some snow. And that's if we can get some here in Louisville. Far more confident off to the east, less confident off to the west, and still watching our northern tier of counties for wherever that depth band sets up, because it is showing that, and it's close in some, others have it. So
the HRRR says no, but the NAMs have it.
The NAM has it. So this is part of it. Kind of like you're hanging out with us. Well, this is exactly what we do back in the office.
It's very true.
We'd shoot back and forth, look at different models, talk about, you know, what are the conditions? Is this initializing right? Does it have everything showing right now in the correct location? Is it showing a little too dry or temperatures too warm, too
I know
cold.
those are some of the intricacies we've got to figure out.
So these are things that we will actually, you're watching us do it firsthand, but these are things that we would go through regardless.
Yeah, I really want to see. I think when this video ends, for me at least, I want to go through that HRRR. I want to understand,
figure out why.
Yeah, to me, it's different. Why? That to me is an important one. Another question here. Somebody is asking, any chance of freezing rain, from Brad on Facebook. Brad, thank you for asking that one. 0 chance of freezing rain on this one, because you may or may not know this. To get freezing rain, the surface has to be under 32 degrees. We're not going to be under 32 tomorrow afternoon. We're actually going to be above it. So what then? Well, you're like, if it's above it, it's going to be all rain. Not necessarily true. Remember, the precipitation starts above you in the cloud level and then starts to fall. If it starts as a snowflake and never melts and gets to this really small area near the ground where it's above freezing, it can still actually make it down to the ground. To make freezing rain, you have to have it start as a snowflake normally. It has to move through a warm layer, completely melt, and then go into a really, really cold layer. Really cold meaning below 32 degrees. So freezing rain by nature cannot occur with a temperature above freezing. Temperatures will be above freezing during this, so freezing rain is out of the question on this one, which is great.
I got one here from Mary Kane Dishman saying, what about Jeffersonville, and should we be concerned about the Wednesday morning commute? Mary,
good question.
It is a very good question. Jeffersonville, more of a rain-snow mix for you, starting more liquid, ending more frozen, could see anything from 0 to up to 1 inch of snow. It's going to be a slushier snow. Should you worry about the Wednesday morning drive? The Tuesday afternoon, watch out. I would say by Wednesday, you're in good shape. Got to watch out for the refreeze. And here's the thing. We have a lot of days where temperatures do go above freezing this week, Mark. But every single night.
What does that mean?
We thaw out.
Hold on a sec. The temperature gets above 32 here?
Yes. More than once.
Wow. I've been the last 10 days.
In the freezer. But the problem is every single night we're back in the 20s.
I know.
And that's going to be the constant freeze, refreeze cycle. That means pothole problems, my friend. It is going to be...
These are going to be the ones that eat up small cars. This is going to be where the car in front of you goes down into the hole and disappears.
And like, what was that?
Have you seen those, like when you're standing there or if you're driving behind and it literally looks like the car goes down?
Yeah, like
you're like
into like the Grand Canyon.
You're like, oh no. I mean,
the worst part is I hate when I hit one. I'm just like, oh, that sounded expensive. Like,
I know. I've stopped the car to get out to look.
I don't unless I hear any loud noises, because I'm like, I'm gonna make it to where I'm getting, because what am I gonna? I know what you mean. I've thought about getting out, but I'm like, you know what?
You know me. I just can't. Sometimes I don't want to drive the whole way home and then get out of the car. I'm like, you know what? If I see it at work, that'll give me 20, 25 minutes to process it before I get out of the car.
See, I just live in the moment. Just go for it. And usually that doesn't work out for me very well.
And you know, this is a comment from Jennifer, who's on our YouTube, and she says Hardin County is still struggling with icy side roads and neighborhoods. And you know, you are not alone, Hardin County.
That's a good point.
This is even in Louisville. And Louisville is generally going to have a lot more traffic. We have a lot of problems still with ice all over the place and road conditions that are bad. It is not isolated to you, but that said, it's way more prevalent as we get outside of our main county of Jefferson. A lot of our more rural counties are having a lot of problems out there. Somebody asked, Rick, and I'm going to put this question to you. What did the groundhog predict?
Oh man, the groundhog. Well, first off, he's a liar. Let's get the record straight.
The statistics are like 30%.
30, I think it's 34.
Okay, I'll give
which is not good. It's still not good, regardless.
30. So Punxsutawney gets it right. 34%.
He put 6 more weeks of winter, right?
Here's the thing: what is it? 6 more weeks of winter, or spring begins in which? What are even the two?
6 more weeks of winter and early spring.
But when does early? What does early spring mean?
It means it's early.
Isn't that like we need it more? This is subjective.
Listen,
I need quantitative.
This is what you get from a rodent. It's subjective.
on a true story note, though,
like Groundhog.
You can't forecast 6 weeks into the future with any degree of accuracy. So I'm going to say we've put him in a bad position. That poor rodent is just trying to mind his own business in that stump. He's just trying to sleep.
They rip him out of the hole.
Rip him out of there while he's sleeping, and then they say forecast 6 weeks into the future. Look, that's not fair. If somebody pulls me out of bed and tells me to forecast 6 weeks into the future, that's not fair.
I'd be in a bad mood.
I'd be in a terrible mood as well.
Poor Phil. Phil is the most hated by meteorologists.
Yeah, he's a little.
And now there's like 8,000 different.
Yeah, there's like a Tennessee Chuck. Is it Tennessee Chuck?
I don't know. Just
Chattanooga Chuck.
Chattanooga Chuck. There's a Jimmy or something like this.
There's one up in the Northeast in New York now. It's like a Poughkeepsie pig, or it's a Poughkeepsie.
This has gotten out of hand.
It has gotten out of hand, and I've seen people even like take a picture of their dog outside to see if it can see its shadow. So it forecasts 6 more weeks of winter. If you put me on the spot right now, and I said have to say early spring or not, I don't like to go beyond 2 weeks, but I'm going to say that we're going to see a moderating trend. I don't think it's going to be as cold.
I
think we're going to start to chew through snow. The uniqueness that allowed us to get into that cold for so long required a snowpack to the north. If we can't continuously replenish that, we cannot go back into the deep freeze. And really, when you look at our area, February has definitely had some very, very cold months. But, you know, in the last 2 decades, January really has been the month that we get hit hard.
It has.
So.
I got a funny one. This is from YouTube.
Oh, no.
This is from Deborah. She goes, yeah, he doesn't live in the Ohio Valley. We need our own groundhog.
What would we have, though, if it was the Ohio Valley Otis?
Otis?
Yeah, I mean, Ohio Valley.
Okay, that works.
The OV. What names have OV in them?
Oh, because you have to.
Ovarius.
Right, the rhyme.
We could be the Ohio Valley Ovarius.
I mean, you get it started. I was thinking something.
Dude, where are we gonna get a groundhog?
I don't know. I was thinking something with horses.
You would get injured.
Yeah, I mean, they dig holes. I'd fall in it, twist my ankle. I'd be in a cast.
What about one of those prairie dogs? We can get a prairie dog Rick.
Oh, the one that goes. No, I don't want to be. Don't put me in this situation.
Any other questions about snow here? Again, I just want to be transparent, guys. We're going to be looking at this new data. I want to show it one more time, only because, Rick, I do think that this speaks to some of what we still have left to do on this. I'm going to show the HRRR computer model here really quickly. I want you to see it so that we're not just saying it. This is the new high-resolution rapid refresh model, one of the best in the world. Now, I just want you to notice a couple of things. It did take Louisville to 0. You see this band? This is called the deformation axis, that whole line that I've got drawn. If that whole line goes west 3 counties, you're talking 3 inches of snow, maybe 4 in Seymour, North Vernon. So this is one computer model. I'm now going to take you to our in-house weather model. I will tell you that this model shows at least a theme that's similar. There is some band where it shows more. It's a little bit further off to the north. I'm going to take you to the NAM computer model. And one of the themes that we see in all of these models, Rick, is they're on the northern edge is a band. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the things that when we finish this video, when we go back into the weather office, we need to figure out exactly where that band's going to go. Normally, we wouldn't throw a dart at it, but we're 18 hours out. We're throwing a dart at that one.
Yeah, we got to fine-tune that one. And I hate to say this. I hate to say it, but Chris Corbin makes a good point. You know, we talked about the groundhog, the Otis. He said you have a snow fox already.
You know, do you know? You may not know this. It's a little story here. This happens sometimes. When I was on WDRB in the mornings, you know how the morning show it does get a little more out of control.
A little.
So I created I got a UPS box, and I put it out in the water garden for Groundhog Day. And I put the snow fox into there.
Oh, you.
And then when the sun came up, I moved the snow fox out of his stump, the UPS box, to see if he could see his shadow. Here's the problem with this. I'm going to tell you. This is when I realized this whole thing is fixed. How do you know if the snow fox is going to see his shadows when you have lights like we have? They're like artificial suns around us.
All over.
When you look at the groundhog, there's literally like these huge lights everywhere.
That's true. The public, the media.
So how do you even know if he saw his shadow? And I realized that the snow fox had a shadow, but it was because we had like an artificial sun around him out in the garden. So,
Through years of experimentation, we got to the bottom of it.
We know. I also will tell you this. There's been years where I looked at the observations where Punxsutawney is, and they pulled him out, and it was complete overcast. And they say he saw a shadow.
Like, how?
So I think there's a little. I think somebody's trying to be a little fishy on
You're
there.
onto it. You're onto it.
Somebody said the Ohio Valley aardvarks. I think it's actually cool to say the word aardvark.
Aardvark is a fun word to say. Good job, Tom.
Any other questions here about snowfall? Again, I just want to go back through this one last time, show you our map here. This is a map that we're going to be updating you on. But Rick, obviously people came in here to get snow amounts, and we want to show up to 1, including Seymour, Paoli, Hardinsburg, Louisville, E-Town. We got 1 to 3 from Frankfort through Maysville. To be completely transparent, this area in the northern part of our area, we may take into this 1 to 3, and we may do more like this. We want to see that late data before we make that decision. My initial feeling, Rick, is it is going to be necessary to move that 1 to 3 into North Vernon and Seymour. I think that we're going to have it there. The up to 1 for Louisville includes this 0 up to maybe 1 or 1 1/4. 1 1/4, I think, is probably the max for Louisville.
Right. And just want to get another question in here because I feel like these are important. So Missy Harden works at a daycare. Will the kids maybe getting out early because the road's really bad? Buses were sliding everywhere this morning. Oh, this morning.
I'm sure. I mean, it's this whole situation has been going on for so long.
The main roads are so deceiving because they're in such good shape and they've been salted and plowed. But the back roads, it's like they're untouched, and now everything's condensed. They're really slick. So I understand your concern, Missy. Once again, I can't speak to busing, schooling, what they will or will not do, but I understand that there's still a lot of problems in the back roads. The main roads are in good shape. This is going to be, rain to maybe some snow, some wet snow. So that basically is the only thing that we have additionally falling from the sky. If the problems are pre-existing, they're already there, then they're going to have the same problems they had yesterday, unfortunately.
Yeah. So there's not going to be improvement.
Right.
And then after this storm, we're going to get colder again.
We'll get colder, and
then
really
we'll moderate this weekend. It does look like some sun. Hopefully that can start to burn. But as Rick noted, I mean, if we get to 40 in the afternoon and 20 at night, it's still going to refreeze every single night.
Right, and it's like you're just chipping away slowly. It's going to really take some time to get rid of all this now. And the people who get rain maybe could help wash some of that away in our southern communities, but that's probably not going to be the case for everyone.
Somebody asked if we have given any advice to school systems. So in transparency, I have given advice. I try not to tell you guys who. I am always honest that I advise University of Louisville. But when it comes to school systems, I just don't want to get caught in the politics of how, some of this stuff. So I will tell you that school systems have reached out to us and we've offered information. All we do is offer the forecast. We do not offer advice in terms of whether you should stay open or closed. The times where I'll do that is if it's a major high-end event. Right. If it's a high-end event, then we will consider that. So
I don't envy their situation with some of these low-end events that are a little bit more unclear, especially post big snows, because you have no idea the difference between certain roads, and you drive around, you can only cover so much area. It's not like you can drive every single road, which means others will be in a worse situation, while some will say it was the easiest ride in. So that's the position they're in.
And if the problem also is, let's just say there's snow out there, and let's say it's a low amount and there's no advisory and something happens. I think that what happens is if it's a lower end advisory where we don't have this floor now, I think sometimes people are going to say, well, there was an advisory posted. Why did you? So the school systems, I think when there's an advisory posted, have almost been handcuffed in how they have to deal with it.
Right. Because the awareness is there. It's like you can't say you didn't know it was coming.
So anyways, these are some of our totals now. We've got 30 minutes and I need that time to look at data. So what we're going to do here as the video comes to a close is remind you, please share the video. Even after it comes to an end, your friends and family could jump in here and view. Secondly, this one's important. Rick's going to be on at 11. I'm going to be on at 10. We're going to spend 30 minutes on this late data. We want to get this right. I can tell you that I do anticipate some adjustments to the 1 to 3. The up to 1 inch, I don't know that we're going to make adjustments a large amount on. but I do think that the 1 to 3 may need to move around a little bit. I'll be on at 10, 10:22, 10:37. Rick starts at 11 and goes on at 11:17 for his big weather. These should give you guys an opportunity and time so that you can plan around this. Put an alarm on your phone so you know when to tune in. We'll be on exactly at those times, and we'll be updating the snowfall amounts. We'll update you guys on the timeline. We'll update you on the mounts. Again, I'll be on at 10. Rick DeLuca will be on at 11. If you guys appreciate the video, you can always throw some thumbs up and some hearts across the screen, and always share the video, and just let us know, down bottom if you guys appreciate these. We need to spend